Hey y'all, I hope everybody's doing good today. I hope that nobody has this superflu, flu type A, respiratory, pneumonia, pneumonia. I hope that nobody has this going on, but I wanted to share our story because I did put up a video the other day of where we were buying cold medicine and medicine because everybody had got sick. So I wanted to tell about that because it's weird. It's strange. It was two different things. So on Tuesday night, my daughter came home. She works in retail. She came home and she had a cough. Well, she gets a cough every year. Ever since she's been born in December, January, she gets a cough. So it was nothing new. We decided to go to the dollar store, grab her some medicine, and she didn't have a temperature. She just had a cough and she was tired. But she had been working in retail for 5 or 6 days straight during Christmas, so she was definitely tired. And so we went on and got her medicine. She got NyQuil and Dayquil, and she went ahead and took it. Got up the next morning, and I'm like, well, how do you feel? And she said, I just coughed a lot last night. She said, but my hips hurt. And she said, and I think it's just where I laid in that one spot because whichever way you turn, you got to get to where you're not going to cough so much. So just to be safe, since we were having our dinner that day, I said, go ahead and call the doctor's office and see if they can get you in. She did, and they said, you've tested negative for COVID, you've tested negative for the flu, you don't have a fever, it's not viral, it's just respiratory. They said, we think it's just respiratory, so here's you some pills, some little gel pills for your cough, you'll be fine, blah. So we went ahead and had our dinner, and when I'm telling you, it spiraled out of control that night. I started feeling a little bit bad about 7:30 that night. Not really feeling bad, but I had that tickle in my throat. And I was just like, something just, I felt like I was probably going to have something. About 12:30 that morning, I was coughing like crazy. My head was pounding. Every time I'd cough, my head was pounding. All I remember after that was just waking up every little bit to go to the bathroom, just coughing. And I had my water. I had a big water bottle beside me. So whenever I'd wake up, I would take a sip of water and go right back to sleep. Well, about 10:30 on Christmas night, I had woke up for a little bit, checked my phone, and my daughter-in-law had texted me and said, are y'all sick? And I was like, oh no. I said, are y'all sick? And she said, yeah. It had hit them between 5 o'clock on Christmas Day all the way up until 10:30 that night. And it was different symptoms. Some of them it hit really hard. Some of them it was gradual. So they made it through the night. They were taking, their ibuprofen and everything. And then on Friday morning, I got a call from them saying, we're bad. What do we need to take? And I said, well, I'll tell you what. And I said, let me run up to Walmart and grab y'all some stuff and I'll get it to you. So that's what I did. And my husband took it to them, left it on the front porch, and we were just hoping and praying at that point. Well, I talked to my mama a little bit later on that afternoon, and she's like, well, everybody seems to be sick. And I'm like, yeah. And she said, well, me and your daddy's sick too. and they've had their flu shot. So just like I had. And so my daddy actually got so bad that he couldn't even stand up and walk. She was having to help him whenever he'd have to get up and go to the bathroom and whatnot, which he is 88 years old, and she's 83. So she's got the cough, he's got the runny nose and the aches, the body aches. And so we went on through the course of the day to see how everybody was going to do with the medicines that, over-counter medicines that we had. And by that evening, everybody was down. Everybody was just down. And at 4 o'clock the next morning, my son texted me and he said, "Mama, we need help." Well, at that point, I just didn't know. I was calling him. He couldn't even talk. So between him and his girlfriend, they were texting me every little bit, and they were like, "We don't know what we need. We need juice. We need ibuprofen. We need cough medicine. We need whatever." So I make another run back to the store when they open. I packed me a bag in case I needed to stay overnight, because they have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and they have a 7-month-old. So Mama and Daddy are down, and the 3 kids are down. I didn't know what I was walking into. Well, when I got over there, everybody was just laying around. And I said, we got to do something. Temperatures of 104, 104.2, 104.5 temperatures. So I got them an appointment, everybody together at urgent care that day at 1 o'clock. So we got them into urgent care, and every one of them tested positive for flu type A. They tested the baby for RSV. Thank God he did not have RSV. So anyway, they gave them Tamiflu. The thing that the doctor told us about Tamiflu was, it's not going to make you feel better. The only thing that's going to make you feel better is rest, hydration, making sure that you keep the fluids in you. Don't drink Gatorade and drink water. Drink one or the other, or electrolytes and water, one or the other. And we're going to write everybody a prescription for Tamiflu, but it's not going to make you feel better. It just might cut some of the time off that you're sick, and it will make you be less contagious to anybody else. So we go to the pharmacy, and they only have the children's Tamiflu, which smelled delicious. It smelled like bubble gum. But them children were like, it was bad. They said it tastes bad. So we wound up having to send the prescription into another CVS pharmacy that had the Tamiflu on hand. They didn't do that. So the next day I had to follow up and be like, hey, can you get this prescription switched over for the mama and the daddy? We finally did that. That was on Sunday when we finally got everything switched over. So we're sending food to my mom and daddy. We're sending cold medicines. Charity took a bunch of cold medicines and some food to them. We're running back and forth, taking food to my son and medicines to them, and just trying everything we can to get everybody better. And today is Tuesday, New Year's Eve, and they are finally starting to feel a little bit better. They still have their coughs, as we all do. But I don't know what it is. There's so many different symptoms. There was the flu symptoms that happened in my son's household, and then there was the respiratory symptoms that happened with Charity, and then my mom and daddy had somewhat of flu-like symptoms. My daddy had more flu symptoms than my mama did. She's got the cough, like the respiratory thing. I don't know. I've missed work this week, which was inventory week. It was a big week. I am going to go in Friday to do the actual inventory. And I'm telling you, there's some people out there who say, well, this person had the flu and they were over it in 14 hours. And this person had the flu and they were back at it. Well, guess what? When I got the flu, when I'm sick, when I know I'm contagious, I'm staying at home. I'm not going to come out there and get somebody else sick. That's just me. So, and I understand there's a business to run. I get that. But that's how that all this has spread like wildfire through Walmart, through any retail places, through food places, because people have to work and they come in sick, or people feel obligated to come in sick. Now, I'm just going to say this. I love my job. But if anybody thought I was going to put my parents or my son or grandkids, in-laws, whatever, on the back burner so that I could go to work, they were wrong. That's just me. That's just me talking. That's just me putting that out there. So my point to that is, if you're sick, stay home. And I know a lot of people can't afford to do it, but God will get you through it. God will take care of your bills. And don't let anybody ever make you feel like you cannot be out of work because you're sick, because you're making somebody else sick. And on top of that, you're feeling like crap yourself. So I don't know what this is. I do know some of it was type A, some of it was respiratory. I'm hearing that the hospitals have started making it to where there are a lot of restrictions on who can come in and see who and whatnot. And I agree with that because it's bad. I feel like they should have a separate section set up for people that are not, that don't have the sick symptoms, maybe have sprains or bruises or something. And then another part of the hospital that does, and then maybe they do. I'm not sure they do in our area. But please stay aware. And if you can right now, probably stay home unless you have to go out. Maybe only do a grocery pickup, which is still risky because there may be somebody in there sick that's picked your groceries. That's the way my mind works. But whatever this is, stay aware. And I hope that each and every one of you are safe. I just wanted to share our story on how the different symptoms were compared to the different diagnoses were that we got. And superflu is what I'm going to call it. So I want to give an update. Everybody's doing better so far. If you've had the superflu, if you've had the flu, if you've had the flu shot and still got it, leave a comment and let me know, because I know I had my flu shot and I still wound up sick. My mom and daddy had their flu shot and they still wound up sick. My kids did not have the flu shot and grandkids, and they wound up super sick. So I'm just kind of curious, what are your symptoms? Has anybody had respiratory? Just let me know, because I just get in my head about stuff like that and I need to figure it out. So stay safe. I'm praying for you. If you are sick, if you're not sick, I'm still praying for you. Stay safe. Please be aware. And we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you can, like, subscribe, share. Because I love you and I want to keep talking to everybody. Bye, y'all.